All right, live from the kitchen. First episode. Let me share it out. Let me do a quick mic check. Cool. All right, I'm gonna get this thing started. Right now. Let's tighten up, good people. It's your boy, the One Piece Shark, holding it down from the M Town as always, Memphis, Tennessee, or as we like to say, Memphis. We don't like to claim the other side of Tennessee, but as a Titans fan in Nashville, I'm kind of stuck on both sides. But welcome to the Let's Tighten Up podcast. Like I said, I'm a longtime Titans fan since I was 7 years old. So I guess it's gonna get this thing kicked off with the background. So since this is the very first episode, I will go into the background history of me, the show itself, and then I go into like the show order and actually talk about the actual Titans at the end of the show. So first up, like I just said, Memphis. I live in Memphis. Wasn't born here, but raised. I've been here my whole life. My moved here as a baby. So Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis Tigers. Graduated from the U of M. I'm actually a Tennessee fan and Memphis fan, so I know that's kind of weird, but I grew up Tennessee fan and Memphis hometown team, so it wasn't that big of a deal to me until I actually got older and actually went to college. But it is what it is. As my Titans fandom, I'm about to show y'all some heartbreaking stuff right now. So this is where my Titans fandom starts it. Where really, so honestly, it started at 1990. Well, it was 1999 to 2000 season, of course. Y'all know the Super Bowl run. Like I said, I was 7. I started watching football. Really, the first game I remember watching was the Music City Miracle. It's probably the first game that I remember watching. And from that point forward, I fell in love with the Titans. Got the Super Bowl, lost by 1 yard. I cried and been a Titans fan since then. Yep, Nick. Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's hard to really truly speak on it, but yeah, Steve McNair became my all-time favorite player that year. Fell in love with his play, everything he did. I remember the day that he died. Rest in peace. Still remember the day that he died, 4th of July. I mean, it really broke me where I didn't want to do anything. So rest in peace, everybody there. But that's where my Titans fandom starts at and continues through to today with all the, ups and downs, really. That was pretty much our highest point. We've had other moments where we started season 10-0, got to the playoffs, lost to the Baltimore Ravens, beat Baltimore last year. So that was kind of somewhat revenge for what happened in 08 and back in 2001 when Ray Lewis beat us that year. So, that's really where it just started from. It's been that way since then for me and my Titans fandom. Podcasting background. I have 2 podcasts. One, Let's Be Real. It's been out for 2 years, and we just finished our 112th episode. So, that podcast is 6 of us, actually. So, knowing there's a lot of talking heads, lasts about an hour and a half at most. We on all podcast platforms. You want to check us out on there as well. But the guys, we have fun. It's all sports. It's very cultural. We talk about any and everything. Even like stuff I want to talk about here. If you want to hear my opinion, like on let's say Black Lives Matter or any of those type of things, we'll dive into some of that stuff on Let's Be Real as well. As well as just all sports in general, mainly basketball, football, NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, you name it. And we're sponsored by Tigers. Overtime, bro. It's Memphis Tigers affiliate. So we would cover the Memphis Tigers almost every single episode in some aspect. So if you want to, like I said, check us out on there, that's fine. But also my second podcast we have is the Starting Five, which 5 of the guys, including me from Let's Be Real, got that one for Grizzly Bear Blues. And as I say, I'm from Memphis Grizzlies. So that podcast covers the Memphis Grizzlies. We started that in July of this year. And from that point forward, like I said, we blessed with the opportunity. Then with 10 episodes in now. Very exciting with Ja Morant and Triple J. So that was a great opportunity to come up at the perfect timing. So a lot of good things going on both podcasts with both Penny Hardaway for the Memphis Tigers, Memphis football doing really good, and Ja Morant and Memphis Grizzlies being on a high note as well. So that's a little background to me. And next up, I go to podcast info. So really for podcast info, it's really just kind of give why did I want to start this podcast, why did I come up with the name, and what you should expect going forward. So first up, want to start this, like I said, I got 2 other podcasts. I like talking sports. I've always been a sport head, but I'd like to give a nice shout out to a couple of different Titan podcasts that I listen to. Of course, to Ron Davenport, who covers the Tennessee Titans for ESPN. Listen to his show, Talking with TD, great show. If you haven't, check it out. Titans and Truth, Mr. Chris Newell. He's very good. His craft releases every Wednesday, and sometimes do pregame, postgame shows as well. Mr. Titan, you can follow him on Twitter as well, and he reached out to me to check his show out, and I like what I've been seeing. Also, Tennessee Titans Weekly is another one. 2 guys, I think they're both based in Nashville. Really good show. Really hyped. Lots of energy. Love it. And Titans Upload is another one that I know of that I checked out a couple times, but I think it's pretty good stuff going on. Also, I know there's another guy, Titan Anderson, on Twitter that y'all can check him out as well. So just anything Titans related. Like I said, I just named y'all, 1,000 different podcasts. So if y'all want, check them all out. Really good people. Hopefully I can get to connect with them soon as well. Name history. So like I said, I have a podcast called Let's Be Real. It's not a coincidence that this is called Let's Tighten Up. Essentially, this is a spinoff from Let's Be Real. So I'm the only Titans fan on Let's Be Real. We have 2 Steelers fans, an Eagles fan, a Panthers fan, and a Cowboys fan. I know my guy Trevor from Let's Be Real is also thinking about starting a Steelers podcast, which we're just trying to do spinoffs from Let's Be Real. But also, like I said, I want to talk more about the Titans. We don't really talk. We talk about them then and there. We talk about the NFL every week, but like we do weekly pick-ems. Titans been on there a couple of times. It's not as much as I'm definitely gonna talk about them on here. Nearly enough. But also the actual name of the show was the actual name. So we used to name our shows up until we got to episode 100. Since 100, we just been saying LBR 101, 102, and so forth. But we used to actually name the episodes. And we started, I think it started with the Let's Tighten Up episode 2 years ago when we beat the Patriots, the Cowboys and Patriots back-to-back weeks. My guy Savage, Cowboys is America's team. Everybody, anytime you beat them, it's exciting. And then we beat the Patriots, who won the Super Bowl that year. So beating them back-to-back, Savage just kept saying, my homie Savage just kept saying, let's tighten up. And we named the show that. And after that, we started naming all our shows, Let's Be Real About, or Let's Do This, Let's That. So it started with the Let's Tighten Up episode. And essentially, I was trying to think of a name for this podcast and couldn't think of one. And just thought back to that and was like, you know what? Let's tighten up. Might as well just keep it going. So that's how the show name came up. So as for show order, every week I'm planning on recording. Tonight is Monday. I'm probably going to record every Tuesday. It's going to be a live show, but it's also going to be recorded. So it's going to be pushed out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast, you name it. So it'd be audio and video, and I share it down Periscope on Twitter as well as YouTube Live. So I mean, it's plenty of different ways to listen if you want to. Like I said, I encourage you to. I'm gonna talk Titans, and the plan is to get a guest. So this is the first episode doing it by myself. Normally I like to do stuff by myself. So knowing we got so many Titans fans out here, I'm going to be. If you want to listen to the show, I mean, look at the bottom of the screen. You see, follow me at the one DA, the number one, but spelled out. So DAONE_P Shark, or email me at sharkyparish@gmail.com if you want to get on the show. I plan to have a guest every week, sometimes two guests. I mean, like I said, the show is very flexible for me to do that. Oh yeah, Mr. Tight Upload. Yep. YouTube name Parish Sharky. But I'll reach out to you afterward and let you know that. But it's Parish Sharky, or I better say I'm looking at my YouTube name. You see the Parish Sharky or Let's Tighten Up, but um either try one of the two. But I reach out to you. I know where to find you at. But at the show order, plan to have a guest every week. After that, just start off. It's going to be introducing, talking about the previous game. Then I'm gonna go around the league. It's gonna be talking about the NFL, especially things pertaining to the Titans. So specifically AFC games, divisional games, anything that. So like this past week, for instance, I would review our Bears game. Then I would I would review our Bears game. But then when I get to the NFL segment, I'll talk mostly about the Colts and Ravens game, and probably like the Chiefs and Panthers games that pertain to us. And then I'll probably also, if it's big news in this past week, it was the Saints and the Bucks. So I'll go into that game, probably the Seahawks game with the Bills, because that do pertain to us with the Bills. Although we have the tiebreaker, it still pertains to us. But also it's a big game with the Seahawks as well, and Russell Wilson and the star power with the league, of course. So I try and dive into more NFL things in that segment. Then the final segment, I do a preview of the next game. And of course, I have a guest. It's the first time the guest is on. Going to be like a Q&A session with the guest while going to those segments right after talking with the guest. So that's where the show order will go. Like I said, I already said where to find the show at. It'll be on the bottom of every single podcast. And like I see with Titan Upload, I add my actual YouTube name as well. I meant to start a new YouTube page, but I just kept my own personal page. So I wasn't sure if I changed it from my name or to the actual podcast. Actually, let me check that right now to be on the safe side so I can give y'all the accurate information on it since I am live. Give me 1 second. Yep, it's just my name, Parish Sharky. So that's where you can find me at. Subscribe. Subscribe on any network, any podcast platform. I'll be on more soon as everything gets going. So mid-season review. So instead of specifically breaking down the Bears game, I would talk about the season as a whole. Since it is the mid-season point, we are 8 games in. So let me share the schedule first off, so it'll be easier to follow. All right, so first game, or let's just don't talk about the season. We're 6-2. Last year at this time we were 4-4, so obvious improvement. As everybody know, last year we started off 2-4. QB switch, made a run at the end of the season, and got to the AFC Championship game. Fun fact though, last season I was at the Kansas City Chiefs game, not the playoff game, but the regular season game. That to me essentially spurred our playoff run. I would say the San Diego Chargers game, when we were 2-4, we stopped them at the 1 yard line. Jeffrey Simmons' first game as a pro coming back from the ACL was our season saver. Then I say the Kansas City Chiefs game, and the way we won it with the last second touchdown from Tannehill to Adam Humphries and the blocked field goal by Joshua Kalu. I think that was the push forward that we needed to make a playoff run. Because if we lose the game, we were going to be 4-6. And winning that game got us to 5-5, and then we wanted to run after our bye week, which was after that game, and we just wanted to run, and they get stopped to the AFC Championship game against, ironically, the Kansas City Chiefs, team we had just beat. So, okay, appreciate that. Tighten up, man. All right, so go ahead to the season. I'm not gonna go to the off season. Everything that happened, Jared, KC, Logan Ryan. Uh, yeah, like I said, you have so many other science podcasts. I'm pretty sure they all talked about it. I was listening throughout this whole summer. But when in doubt, I just start with the Jared, not Jared Casey, with Jadavian Clowney. We signed him 1 week, yeah, about a week before the season started. This year was weird, COVID, and I get into that and our COVID stuff in a minute. But with COVID, no preseason games, just training camp. Rookies is kind of harder to settle in. So I understand everything's going on. Well, I would like to urge Titans fans and even myself, because I am very impatient with them as well, is that we need to we expect players to be good like off the bat. And same with me. So what I want to say with your Jadavian Clowney, and I have gotten on him on Twitter. Now I've gotten both him and Vic Beasley, who's gone now. But I do say Jadavian Clowney gives effort. He almost make the play. Now we need him to actually make the plays. I think I hear like stats like he's top 10 in pressures and stuff. So I mean, that's been his career though. He's always been like I think last year he had 4 sacks, but I saw him dominate a game last year. That playoff game against the Eagles was like like he essentially dominated that game. So I seen him affect games in ways that don't always lead to sacks. So even myself, I've been getting on him as well. Hopefully, his injury is he's not out for the season. He doesn't have surgery on a torn meniscus. So definitely mercy on him for that. So hopefully he's okay. But I just want to say, I'm just going to give a couple of examples that I saw someone tweet. You know, a lot of people have already given up on Isaiah Wilson. And me, myself, I didn't like the draft pick when it happened. But someone may tweet that a lot of Titans fans, we didn't call Jeffrey Simmons a bust, but we didn't like the draft pick either. Another fun fact, I was at the NFL draft because it was in Nashville last year when we drafted Jeffrey Simmons. And I remember us drafting him. I remember being there in the crowd in person. It just like, I think I wanted us to draft Greedy Williams. And it seemed like every year I wanted to draft a corner or a secondary person, because this year I wanted Jeff Gladney. So we ended up getting Christian Fulton in the second round. He ended up working out. I think he's still going to be good. But I'm not saying Isaiah Wilson's going to be Jeffrey Simmons, but kind of the same thing. Like we didn't like the pick. I didn't like it because he had just came off torn ACL, and I want somebody to produce that season. But John Robinson's looking to the future. When we drafted Isaiah Wilson, it was probably unlike he was going to play this year. Of course, the trouble added on to it, but I mean, if he get those things turned around, I mean, he's not a bust yet. And I hear fans calling him a bust. I'm like, we need to try and get patient. Same thing, free agents, and that's why I was talking about Jadavian Clowney. When Malcolm Butler first came, that first half of his first season wasn't good. The second half of his first season was very good. Last year, before he got hurt, he was very good. This year, and I was one of the people talking bad about him at the beginning of the season, saying he ain't it. We might have to cut him in the offseason. Now he's turned it around, and guess what? He missed the last half of last season. So what that's telling me is, with no preseason, he missed almost missed the last half of last season. He was rusty to start the season, and Odor Jackson out, and there's no pass rush. And he's getting the number one receiver every game. So, of course, he's going to struggle some. So I had to learn, even myself, and that's why I'm trying to preach to Titans fans on that as well. Also, who was another player? Roger Saffold. We signed him last year. I couldn't stand him the first 6 games. He struggled. He's trying to get used to a new scheme. Love him now. He arguably our best lineman. So we thought offensive line was our problem last year. It probably was in the beginning, but I'm not going to go into Marcus Mariota. I was one of the people trying to take up for him as well. I'm not going to go into all that, but I'm just saying, like, we as a whole, including myself, y'all probably see my tweets. We all need to appreciate patience on the team. So then we're going to go to the season. First game, Denver, 16-14. Gostowski. Now, I don't know about preaching patience on Gostowski. So I'll go back to last year. Ryan Suckup. I think we rushed him back from injury too soon. Now he's having a really good year, I think, in Tampa Bay. I wanted him cutting off season. We cut him. I'm starting to think we probably should keep him. I think I don't remember how big his cap hit was. I want to say it was $2 million or something. But I think he was really good for us for a couple years. Then we rushed him back from injury last year. He sucked. Then we cut him. Like, and then same guess when we signed Gostowski, I was glad we signed him. But once again, he came off injury. So maybe I need to preach patience to myself for Gostowski for the rest of the season, hoping that, okay, he come off injury, he's going to get better. Hopefully. But I can't lie and say I don't get nervous when he go to kick a field goal. But like I said, the first game against Denver, he missed 1,000 field goals, but made the game win and win. We won. Typically, we don't win those type of games, but we did that one, so I take it 1-0. Jacksonville, divisional game, we won up by 14. Jacksonville came back, divisional opponent, Gardner Minshew. He has no quitting in him. We pulled it out. Gostowski once again hits the game win field goal. Although he missed the extra point, we got lucky. Jacksonville's kicker missed the extra point, but came back, hit the field goal. Our defense got to stop it then. Minnesota game still didn't look too good. Jonathan Joseph was the real picky point in that game, and we found the way to come up somehow. Derrick Henry finally got in the end zone, helped some fantasy teams out. And Gostowski, that was his best game. He had like 6 field goals the game, including the game winner again. So, hey, we got to do what we got to do. Oh, yeah, tighten up low. Yeah, Santos Seals too. I think Cody Parkey actually didn't do that bad for us last year, but he's having a pretty straight season too. So all 3 kickers we had last year and doing good in other places. So I don't know. Anyway, we might just be cursed when it comes to kicking, but still keep hope alive for the rest of the season. So let's go to week 4. The original week we supposed to play the Steelers. As y'all know what happened? COVID. I'm glad, and like I said, prayers out. I'm glad all the players who caught COVID and coach staff are doing well right now. That's what a lot of people tend to forget in this time period when the NFL hated us. Forget the Titans, all of that. I mean, it's COVID. I mean, I can't say I did get very pissed when I heard the players had met up until I found out all the information, which is a good thing I started this podcast by then. It's a good thing I know to get a level head before I start talking and get all the final facts out before. So I was pissed when I first heard the news, but come to find out the NFL didn't change protocol and none of that, or told them that they ain't supposed to meet outside of the facility until the next day. And also the game against the Steelers wasn't canceled yet. So at that point, they wasn't going to be able to go back to the facility until Saturday. So essentially you're going to be on Zoom all week. These going to come in Saturday for a walkthrough and play Sunday. I understand. And I mean, Desmond King just did that, but that's one player. You see what I'm saying? It's one player versus the entire team. It wasn't going to work out very well like it worked out with Desmond King on yesterday. So I became more understanding. I can say that I still think common sense tells me that they should have, and not so much for football-wise, but for health-wise. When you have a COVID outbreak, think about your health first, in a sense. So I think I was still disappointed in that regard, but it is what it is. We got through it. Then we played Buffalo on a random game on a Tuesday. 42-16. Great performance. Malcolm Butler, that was the first game where he just he had 2 picks, and he kind of set the tone. I can say, and Derrick Henry, of course, is still farm on Josh Norman. I should have got the video. I didn't post me out here. But that was a great game. I can say, though, starting with that game, I did see a problem. And I knew our defense was a problem from the previous 2 weeks. But that game really, although, and then don't get me wrong, Buffalo only scored 16, right? They were like 13 or 17 on third down. And that was the very first game that I saw our third down defense and was scared because it was like, although one, like I said, we blew them out. I'm still like 13 or 17. I think it was 13 or 17, if I'm not mistaken. I should click on and check it. But yeah, that's on third down. That's not good. So you getting a little worried a little bit, but okay, before I know, all right. Get the Houston game. I actually missed the first quarter of the game. I was flying back home from Las Vegas. We started off, I think it was up 21-10. I got to the house. I was watching it on my phone and listening to Mike Keith the second quarter. Got home by halftime. The Texans came back. They took the lead. And Texas were, I think they may just got their first win. I am always, once again, it's a preseason game. Yeah, what up, Savage? Um, it's a divisional game, and also Deshaun Watson. I mean, it's Deshaun Watson. I don't care what their record is. I don't care what receivers he got out there. They still got competent receivers if they stay healthy, and they've stayed healthy this year. Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, they got speed. What we don't have on it's outside, especially with Dowie Jackson and with Jonathan Joseph at the time, there's no speed. So we found the way. We pulled it out. Still was a little uneasy about it, but kind of had to think it's the divisional game and kind of just, big heads prevail. So went to the Steelers game, undefeated, battled the unbeaten. Well, they're still undefeated right now. That first half was terrible. Everything I was afraid of about defense, third down defense, everything really showed its face in that game. Ended up down 24-7 halftime. Offense been great the whole season. They eventually made a run. Defense played better. Finally got some pressure on Big Ben. Then Gostowski, after turning it around, misses misses the game time field goal. Now, I can't say this. I'm not necessarily happy we lost. I'm never going to say I'm happy to see a Titans loss. But because of my concerns about our defense and the way the game started, I was glad that we did make a run and we played like the Titans typically play, fight back, and we fell short in the end because I thought it was going to wake us up and actually fix the problem, which was third down defense. So, go to the Bengals game, thinking this is the game we're going to turn it around. Things get worse. Now, I can't say I didn't think we was going to blow the Bengals out. I knew the game would be close because Joe Burrow, the way they play the offense, they play like 5 wide and everything. Gio Bernard is pretty much a receiving back because Joe Mixon was hurt. And the way our defense set up, I was like, they can exploit us. And that's exactly what they did. So we lose the game 31-20. Tannehill threw a bad pick in the first quarter of that game. And feel like me, that's how it is when I play Madden. If I make one bad play, all of a sudden I lose the game. Oh, it'd be like that one bad play cost me the game. Essentially, I gotta like play perfect. That's how I felt that game. And that interception, like I don't know why he threw it. Guess AJ Brown's calling for it. It was double coverage, but it seemed like that play is like, okay, after that, defense wasn't gonna get no stop for us to actually win it on third down. So come from that game, then Vic Beasley signed for $9 million offseason. He hasn't done anything. That game, he had 2 offside penalties, I think, on the same position. So after this game, you're thinking, okay, 5-2, are you even a good team? Were they fluke? Were the first, 5 wins fluky? Then, hoping John Robinson makes a trade. We hadn't done it. As far as I've been a Titans fan, we hadn't just went forward. And I wanted Stephon Gilmore. I mean, he's going to trade it first. We just want to trade it first. That's the best corner in the NFL. We've never had the best corner in the NFL. We traded Desmond King for a 6th rounder for him. One of our 3 6-rounders. Love to trade. As y'all saw Sunday, fumble return for touchdown. Love to trade. He was all pro 2 years ago. He's just 25 years old. Very small salary, and he's free agent this offseason, but might consider signing him this offseason. Great trade. So I'm thinking, okay, let's see what else happens. He releases Vic Beasley, Jonathan Joseph, and our long snapper, Bo Brinkley, who's been here. I used to see him on Madden back in like 2009, 2010 as a tight end, rated like 38. Wonder who is him? Who is he? Not knowing that he's our long snapper in real life. He hadn't been snapping well. I don't know if there was more so. And I can say that Steelers game, he had that bad snap at that point right before halftime. And he had a couple bad snaps the last week. So I don't know if they was trying to blame Gostowski's problems on him, which partly does go to him. By not cutting Gostowski, I don't know what message they were really sending. But we'll see. I mean, we got the long snapper. We have the holder and punter that he had in New England. So we'll see how they go. Brett Kern got hurt. One of the best corner, if not the best punter in the NFL, was our best player for the last couple of years. So we see how I roll, but that happened. I was glad he just cut ties with Vic Beasley. It wasn't working. It was the difference between him and Clowney. Clowney is trying, he's just not getting there, but he is pressuring. Vic Beasley ain't doing nothing. I mean, literally, he getting paid $9 million to do what I'm doing. I'm doing what all of us doing. I mean, that could have paid me. I mean, they could have just gave me nine. I said on Twitter, they could have just gave me 9,000. I could have did what he did. I mean, I'm not even gonna ask for $9 million. Give me 9,000. So this is how. I mean, I can't really explain no more about Vic Beasley. Well, I already can. Jonathan Joseph, I thought, and I think we did bring him in to be just a veteran in the locker room. He does turn out to be more. Because of injury, and Dory Jackson, I don't know when he's coming back. Hopefully he comes back this week and gets Indy. Who knows? But we need him. Even with Desmond King. But I go to it, like I said, Jonathan Joseph, he struggled mightily. Teams were targeting him. I saw a passing chart, I think, with Big Ben and Joe Burrow. Like a lot of their passing attempts and completions went to him, to his side. So they had unknown receivers. Alden Tate. Every time he caught the pass in the Cincinnati game, I was asking, who is that? And that lets you know all you need to know about Jonathan Joseph. He's older. He's like 34 now. He was very good in his younger days in Houston, but he ain't got it no more. So like the cut. So go to the Bears game. It ended up being 24-17 only because the referees. I will tell you about what I think about the referees. They ain't been giving us favorable calls, but the Cincinnati game, I always say, and this is my quote: don't leave the game in the officials' hands. When we fall behind to a team that's not building in us, to 1-5 and one team, and we're 5-1. When the referees make a bad call, yes, I'm mad, but I can't get too mad. I can't get too mad, but I'm not going to blame the game on it. We can't be. We don't need to be behind by 17 points to a 1-5 and one team. Plain and simple. Bears game. Now the referees still keep the scores on it because the referees at the end they gave the Bears that touchdown. The two penalties, that roughing the passer. I think it was on Jeffrey Simmons. Yeah. Then that hit by Money Hooker, that was a clean hit. And like a lot of people mentioned, Adam Humphries got hurt on the actual hit that he got hit in the head last week. And they ain't called it. But this week. So I'm not thinking down to referees. Just all I got to say is don't leave the game in the officials' hands. Can't be down to 1-5 and one team. The Bears game, it was pretty much out of reach. If they did get the onside kick, though, I would have been looking at the referees. But 24-17, the Bears are my dad's team, so I still haven't talked to him yet. So need to call him, see how he doing after that win. But defense finally looked like we looked in past. Dean Pease was in the stands. I don't know if some of his magic wore off. But we had players that cared. We had players that wanted to be out there. Although we didn't have Clowney, Derek Robertson, you got players that's going to give effort. They got heart. And that's all you want. Another player that caught my attention, I was tweeting his name. Breon Borders, the cornerback. I had never heard that name until Sunday. But, I heard it Saturday when we made like 12 roster moves and brought him from the practice squad. And he's been with like plenty of teams. Like, let me look at this. I think he was with Jacksonville last year. But he was with like Jacksonville, I want to say, I better get me his quoted. I got it pulled up right here. He was in Jacksonville, Oakland, Buffalo, Houston, Washington, Pittsburgh, and Miami. So he's been around the way a little bit, man. So, but he showed me something. Like he played better in that game than I've seen Ty Smith. Ty Smith might be gone. I know Ty Smith just got hurt. He's on IR, but Breon Borders just took the spot. And he probably just took Chris Jackson. He's still a rookie, 7th round pick. He probably just took his rotation spot. So he showed me something in the game as well. Like I did, like just him. I saw him every play. I saw him. Like he was flying to the ball. If it was a tackle, he was there. Like he was getting there. Like if he didn't make the tackle, he was around the ball. And I liked it. Our whole defense has been underperforming, including Kevin Byard, which is a shock. A lot of it goes with Dean Pease. A lot of people bring Dean Pease. It's more on the players to me, but Dean Pease did make a difference. I'm not gonna lie and say he didn't. We would have been, but don't break defense. But some of the players, like Kevin Byard's having a bad season. He's better than it. Jayon Brown, he's starting to turn it around, but he's better than what he was earlier. Rashawn Evans, dang show is better than the way he's been playing. Like Jeffrey Simmons is a monster. He's been killing. But everyone else, like they've just been playing low to their standards. Malcolm Butler has been playing well late. Like I said, he started off struggling a little bit, but he got better. But so really just 6-2, like I said, glad we're 6-2. I'm not a woulda, coulda, shoulda person based on something personal that happened last year anymore. So I'm not gonna say we should be 7-1 or 8-0. You know, we can very well be where we 6-2. We can very well be 4-4 again. I can make a case that we should have lost the Minnesota game. I'll make a case we should have lost the Denver game. I also could make a case that we should have blown out Denver. You know, so I mean, woulda, coulda, shouldas. I don't do it. We're 6-2. We are where our record says we are. Let's keep it rolling and tighten up. So, Colts game preview and season prediction. This last segment for the first episode. Colts game. Y'all know, I think we finally got the monkey eye back, beating them last year in that game in Indy. I think we were, what was our record at the time? 5-5, 6-5. We were probably 7-5 or 6-5. I forgot because after the bye week, I know we played at Oakland, at Indy, whatever order it was. That was the game pretty much. I think we had the same record. And, you know, we never beat Andrew Luck. We were like 0-11 against him. The 1 year he missed, we went 2-0, beat Jacoby Brissett. And last year we lost to Jacoby Brissett in the second game of the season. Mostly because of Marcus Mariota and kicking. But I think we finally got the monkey eye back, so I don't really look at the Colts like that. Like, I'm scared to play the Colts like I used to. But, so Thursday, this is a big game. We win this, we go 2 games up in the division. And I think we will win. I don't believe in Phillip Rivers. Although someone, Zach, I think his name is Zach Williams on Twitter, Titans fan as well. He mentioned, he showed me like Phillip Rivers sacks against the Titans when he was in San Diego and Los Angeles Chargers. And yeah, he kills us every time we play him. But to another point, he does find a way to lose games. And I just, after especially watching the game against the Ravens, their defense is very good. I predict more what happened in the Bears game. I think it's going to be that type of game again, where our defense plays up to the task, mainly because I don't know who their weapons are. T.Y. Hilton isn't the same. And after him, I think Pascal, he's okay. I mean, it's not. Just listen, it feels, before John Robinson made the moves this past week, I would have felt differently about this game and our defense. But give me Titans. We're going to win. I'm not the type to predict the actual final score. I just kind of say if the game's going to be close or not. I believe it would be a close game and we'll kind of run away with it in the fourth quarter. That would be my prediction. So my prediction is that we'll be 7-2 after this Thursday night with a 2-game lead in the division. So to end off, I'm going to go and give my rest of the season prediction. So looking after the Colts game, if I say we win, let's go 7-2. We have 7 games left. What do I think our record would be? So I just go game by game. At Baltimore. Baltimore has made all the moves to beat us after we beat them in the playoffs. Throughout the whole offseason, I said we was going to lose to Baltimore because they had adventures out for us. I actually changed the tune now. I think Lamar Jackson making those comments this summer saying that pretty much they took us lightly. They thought it was an easy win, pretty much. I'm pretty sure Mike Vrabel has that somewhere. And Lamar Jackson hasn't been looking, he ain't looking as bad as we trying to make him look this season. That we said on this Spirit podcast, like he doesn't look good. I ain't gonna say he doesn't look good, but he's not as good. He's not MVP. He's not someone I'm scared of. He's looking like the Lamar Jackson we played the playoffs more than the regular season, if you get what I mean. So I'll give us that win. You can play Indy again. We gotta swoop these folks at some point. Right? Nah, I'm gonna give us the loss. So if I got us beating Baltimore, I'm gonna have us losing at Indy. So at that point where we're 7-2, 8-2, 8-3. So I give us the next 3 games to get to 11-3. So we'll finally break the 9-7 streak. I'm definitely predicting it. 9-7 for 4 years in a row. We get to 11 wins before we even get to the 15th game. So we'll beat Cleveland, Jacksonville, and Detroit. Those next 3 games. We take care of business. We won't pull what we did against the Bengals. So play at Green Bay in Lambeau, week 15, Sunday Night Football. At this point, we might be playing for number 1 seed. Who knows? We should have the division locked up pretty much. So depending on what seeding we want, if we're playing for number 1 seed, we're gonna go all out. But A-Rod is a bad man. I give us that loss, 11-4. But last game against Houston, like I said, depending on standings, depending on matchups, who we want to play, do we have a shot to 1 seed? If we're 11-4, we probably don't, because I don't know. Kansas City is losing another game if they just lose 1 game. I think they play the Saints this season, if I'm not mistaken. They might lose 1 game the rest of this season. Who knows? So I don't know. And Pittsburgh's schedule is not tough, but Pittsburgh is kind of skating by. So I can see them slipping up like we did against Cincinnati a couple of times. But at that point, if we're not playing for number 1 seed and we have division locked up, I think we go ahead and rest players against Houston. So I would say that's a loss, and we go to 11-5. So I predict us to end the season 11-5. So, like I said, in 9-7 the last couple of years, I take it. Take that in division title. We haven't won division in since 08, I think. Because the Mike Munchak years, we went like 7-9, 8-8. In the Jeff Fisher era, same thing, 7-9, 8-8. Mike Larkin, we got to the playoffs, but we didn't win division. Jacksonville won it. Last year, we got to the playoffs, did win division. Houston won it. So, yeah, but first division title since 08. So, give it to me. I'll take it. So, I take that over what we've been. I mean, anything we've been saying the last couple of years, but I do playoff predictions when we get to that point. Outside of that, that's the show for you. Remember, and follow me on Twitter at the1DAONE_P Shark. You can subscribe on any podcast channel, YouTube, Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, soon to be on Google Podcasts, you name it. Like I said, I'm here to talk Titans. I'm a Titans fan. Come on, let's tighten up. And until next time, peace.